Hey, everybody, it's Dr. John Sherk, and this is Wednesday morning at 11 o'clock Central, and that means this is Brown Bag Lunch, where I come to you every week with ideas, thoughts, tactics, tips, and other encouragements to create a great life for a technician, whether you are a technician yourself or whether you are employing or loving someone who is. Today, I want to talk again about something I've talked about in the past, but I had some people tell me this week, like, keep talking about this stuff because the reinforcement is important. So I said, okay. So what I want to talk about are the 5 problems that techs have. Okay. Now, by problems here, I'm not saying there's something wrong with the tech. What I'm saying is these are the needs that a tech has. And if one of them is going unmet, it's a bridge, a basis for them to want to go to work somewhere else. Okay. So if you want to do a retention program of technicians in your company, you need to button down these 5. And if you are a technician and you're processing through, do I want to stay or do I want to take a different job? Try to, I know how this is going to sound, but try to avoid the, well, it's $3 an hour, so it must be a good opportunity mindset. Right? You $5 an hour either way, you can make adjustments to that. It's the other stuff that's going to make your life great or make it stink, honestly. So these are the 5. Probably one of these, if you're a technician, you listen to this, and one of these lands on you, then lands for you, then you just need to think to yourself, is this something I can get solved here, or do I need to go somewhere else to get it solved? Because you need to go 5 for 5 in order to live a great life as a technician. Okay, so here they are. The first one is immediate resource needs. This is, I can't pay my rent this month. Working 100-hour weeks with no end in sight. Down here in South Louisiana, maybe just got hit by a hurricane. But there's something immediate. There's resources you need, time, energy, money, something that it's a crisis because you don't have it right now. There's a lot of guys right now in the air conditioning business. It's off season, especially in the South. And there can be a cash crunch, right? So maybe you need to consider looking at someone who's going to give you 40 hours a week, guaranteed, right? But I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying this is an example of that. Or others of you may say, no, I need to work somewhere that I can kill it during the 6 months where it's warm and have plenty of money the other 6 months. Whatever that is, if that's an issue, that's the first one. Second one are long-term resource needs. This is where it's not a crisis, but the status quo is not sustainable. I can't continue this indefinitely. This would be things like inadequate health benefits, seasonal slowdowns, health issues, safety issues, retirement savings. Somehow there's something about the way your current job is set up that it's not a crisis this month, but it can't go on this way forever. Okay. Third are relationships. This is where work relationships are causing more frustration than helping. There's no sense of team, that there's a lot of conflict. It's every man for himself, and trying to figure out, how to feel good about the relationships I have at work, right? So this is a common basis that technicians will step into in order to try a new place and see if it just feels better to work there, and it isn't so push and shove and cutthroat and hostile, okay? The fourth one is respect or status. And this is where the technician is not given proper acknowledgement and consideration for the contribution and experience that they have, right? I talk to a lot of techs, and they'll talk about being talked down to or seen as less than, or the bosses won't listen, or the dispatcher is pushy, or they're talked to like they're stupid, or have, and all that they can do for the company and do for the company. This is especially the person I call 10-year Ted, they've been residential for 10 years. They've worked the cycle from helper to installer to catching calls, maybe to sales. And now they're in a position where they don't know where to go from here. And they feel stuck, and they're only 35. Right. And they feel like they're the lowest person on the totem pole, not because someone is being rough or coarse with them, but it's like they're the ones that get trusted the most. So they're the ones who get called out the most after hours. We need you to go because we know you can handle it, kind of thing. But these guys don't receive that as respect. They receive that as disrespect, frankly. Okay. The last one is just the pleasure of expertise. That this is where the work is set up in a way that doesn't allow for the feeling of being really skilled. This is the question. Do you feel like practically every day you have the opportunity and the freedom to do what you do best? Now, there's some guys who will say to me, yes, I'm there 100%. Then you have this need met. There are other guys who will say to me, the dispatcher's always writing me to get to the next call. They won't let me take the time to do this the way I want to do it right. Like that kind of thing. So that, I mean, once you have a number of years experience and you're good at doing this thing, it feels good to do it. Being good at things feels good when you do them. And so if the work is set up somehow or some dynamic is preventing the technician from feeling like they're doing what they do best every day, then y'all, this is a big one. This is a big one because they will definitely leave you for this and they'll be your best people. So, and if you're a technician, somebody will allow you to do the work that you do best every day. So those are the big five. I want to repeat them again today in hopes that both technicians and service managers and company owners, that you get a framework for thinking through a retention program. I want to keep my good people. Okay, what is my plan? You need to have 5 things that you account for: short-term needs, long-term needs, relationships, respect and status, and the pleasure of expertise. Now, did you notice none of those was a specific wage? None of those was a specific wage. That's thinking that way is not. It's not a good way to think about retention. Okay, retention has to do with financial stability. That's the short and long-term needs. But then the whole cultural environment that you're creating is more what we're talking about. Are there great relationships? Is there a sense of respect? And can I do the work that I do best? And almost every day do that. If you can put that together, you can retain good people for a long time, right? And if you feel like you're having a problem losing people, it's because of one of these 5 reasons. Now, listen, I understand there's a lot of money getting thrown around out there right now. I have a client who just talked to me about their commercial and they're more contractual. And some of their guys, they've lost some of their guys to T&M companies who can just, bump up the price to a customer on a T&M deal and pay the tax more because of that. When guys are getting offered $10, $15 an hour more than they're making currently, that is going to be a factor. And I don't mean to say it's not. It's not like there's no threshold above which money is the issue. And so that's where it's a different conversation. As a consultant, if you and I wanted to do something, we'd have to sit down and really look at your market. What does the government say the current wages are in your market for technicians? And how do we kind of create a plan that accounts for that? Because there are definitely people throwing around cash to get people in the door. No question. So, and it's not the end of the world for that to happen, but it's not a retention plan for those people. It gets them in the door, but it doesn't make them happy. Because that extra $10 an hour, it's only a matter of time until they have an extra $10 an hour worth of bills. And now the equilibrium is just reset and they're right back where they were. But if they don't have these other needs met, they're going to start looking again. Okay. And after that move, they'll make a lateral move pay-wise. So, okay. So I'm Dr. John Sherk. I'm at a client site today, so forgive the noise and the little stuff going on in here today. You get me real time. So yeah, so you get me real time on these things because you catch me in the middle of everything I'm doing during the week. So I am Dr. John Sherk. This has been Brown Bag Lunch. I would love to sit down with you for 15 minutes and just get to know you better, chat. Let's just see if we can become friends. So thanks very much for your time and attention, and I will see you next week.